Hey, deep divers, ready for another deep dive into the future?
Always. What are we digging into this week?
This week, we're all about startup funding, especially in environmental tech and enterprise software.
Sounds right up our alley. What treasures did we unearth from Bearhug Recruiting's weekly roundup?
Buckle up, because we've got some seriously cool stuff. We're talking AI that's not just one size fits all, a company shaking up energy trading, and even solutions to keep the AI revolution itself in check.
Now that's what I call a deep dive. Where do we even begin?
Let's start with Contextual AI. They just raked in a massive $80 million in Series A funding.
80 million. Wow. They must be onto something huge. What's their secret sauce?
They're all about building custom-made language models. It's
Yeah.
not just about making AI smarter in a general sense, but tailoring it to a specific business.
So instead of a company trying to fit their needs to an AI, the AI molds itself to them.
Precisely, and that's a game changer for industries with very specialized knowledge, like finance or healthcare.
It's like AI getting a PhD in whatever your company does. No wonder big names like Graycroft and even Bezos Expeditions are throwing their hats in the ring.
Talk about a vote of confidence. Speaking of industries needing a shakeup, let's talk about energy trading.
Energy trading, not exactly known for being on the cutting edge, is it?
Not exactly, but that's where Energy Domain comes in. They just snagged $5 million in Series A funding to bring some much-needed transparency to this often murky world.
How are they planning to do that?
They've created an online platform that connects buyers and sellers of energy assets like oil, gas, you name it.
Yeah.
And get this, they're using data analytics to optimize value.
So it's like bringing the stock market to energy trading.
You got it, making it more accessible and data-driven.
Love it. Out with the old, in with the new.
Exactly. And speaking of shaking things up, let's talk about Datch. They just raised $15 million to bring AI to the front lines of industrial operations.
Now that's an area ripe for innovation.
Yeah.
What's their approach?
Imagine a factory where instead of clipboards and paper trails, everything's connected through an AI-powered platform.
Sounds like a dream come true for anyone who's ever worked in a factory.
Right. Datch is all about digitizing and streamlining work in industries like manufacturing. Their platform provides real-time data, identifies potential safety risks before they even happen, and makes sure those workflows are running as smoothly as possible.
It's like giving these industries a much-needed tech upgrade. And with investors like Third Prime and Blue Bear Capital backing them, it seems like Datch is onto something big.
Absolutely. Now let's switch gears a bit and talk about the future of transportation.
Always a hot topic. What's caught your eye this time?
This company called H3X, they just raised $20 million to develop high-power electric motors for things like planes, ships, and even heavy machinery.
Electric planes. That sounds incredibly ambitious. What makes H3X stand out?
They're laser-focused on deep decarbonization. These motors are designed to be lighter, more efficient, and have a longer range than traditional combustion engines.
So we're talking about the potential for electric planes and ships that can travel further and cleaner than ever before.
You got it. It's a potential game changer.
Oh, yeah.
And with investors like Infinite Capital and even Lockheed Martin Ventures on board, H3X is definitely one to watch.
Lockheed Martin's involvement is a pretty strong indicator that they believe in this technology's potential.
Absolutely. Now, from the skies, let's zoom in on something a little closer to home, our houses, to be exact. Adept Materials just secured $4 million in seed funding.
What are they tackling?
An issue I think we've all probably dealt with at some point: moisture.
Moisture. Intriguing. Tell me more.
They're developing advanced materials that can handle moisture, humidity, you name it. Their first product is a super innovative interior wall paint and primer system designed to be incredibly resistant to moisture.
So imagine mold-free bathrooms and walls that can withstand anything from leaky pipes to, dare I say, over-enthusiastic children with crayons.
Exactly. And with backing from giants like D.R. Horton and Polta Group, two of the biggest names in home construction, it seems like Adept Materials is onto something big.
That's quite the endorsement.
Yeah.
From moisture-resistant walls to data-driven cars, what's next?
Our next company, Carketa, is bringing data and intelligence to the automotive industry with their recent $4.4 million growth funding round.
Sounds intriguing. What exactly are they doing?
Carketa is essentially building a comprehensive software solution for a vehicle's entire life. We're talking everything from tracking maintenance history to predicting when it might be time for a trade-in.
It's like a Carfax report on steroids.
Exactly. And with investors like Capital 11 and Crosslink Capital on board, it seems like Carketa might be in the driver's seat when it comes to transforming the automotive industry. Ever stepped into a cold shower and wished for a little more intelligence in your water heater?
You read my mind. There's nothing worse than a freezing cold shower in the morning.
Well, our next company is tackling that very issue. Cala Systems just secured $5.6 million in seed funding to bring intelligence to something we often take for granted.
A smart water heater. That's a new one. How does that even work?
It's all about efficiency. Cala Systems uses sensors, hardware, and some seriously cool predictive technology to make sure there's always hot water ready to go without wasting any energy.
So it learns your habits and preheats based on your schedule? That's brilliant.
You got it. It can even integrate with home energy sources like solar panels.
No more cold showers, A&D, lower energy bills. Sign me up. It looks like investors agree, with backing from Clean Energy Venture Group and Climate Capital.
Speaking of tackling big problems, let's talk cybersecurity in the age of AI.
Now, that's a critical issue. What's caught your attention?
Or Escape AI just raised a cool $12.8 million in seed funding to make sure that as AI explodes in popularity, it stays secure.
With AI finding its way into just about every industry, security is more important now than ever. How are they approaching it?
They're developing a platform that actually uses AI to protect enterprise environments and address potential vulnerabilities.
So it's like AI policing itself, making sure it's used for good.
Exactly. And with backing from heavy hitters like Mayfield Fund and former Palo Alto Network CEO Mark McLaughlin, it seems like they're onto something big.
Definitely a company to watch. Now, from digital security, let's jump to something that affects us all: food.
Everyone's got to eat. What's happening in the world of food tech?
A company called Tarantic just snagged $3.5 million in seed funding to optimize the food supply chain. Because, as we all know, it can be a surprisingly inefficient system.
That's for sure. What's Tarantic's secret weapon?
AI. They're leveraging the power of AI to improve efficiency and reduce waste in an industry that's always under pressure to do more with less.
So potentially less food waste, faster delivery times, and maybe even lower grocery bills for us.
Fingers crossed. And with backing from Supply Chain Capital and Vitalize VC, Tarantic is in a great position to make some real changes in how we get food from farm to table.
Sounds delicious. Now, from the essential to the expressive, let's talk about a company that's revolutionizing visual communication.
Visual communication, that's a broad one. Tell me more.
Napkin. They just raised $10 million in seed funding to help anyone create engaging visuals from text content instantly.
So no more spending hours trying to design the perfect infographic.
You got it. It's like having a personal graphic designer on call 24/7.
That would be a dream. Who are the masterminds behind this?
And with backing from giants like Excel and CRV, Napkin is ready to make a big splash.
Speaking of big splashes, AI is also making waves in the world of renewable energy.
Absolutely. And one company at the forefront of this is SYSO Technologies. They just secured $14.5 million in Series B funding.
What's their angle? What problem are they tackling?
They're developing a market operator platform for renewable energy and battery storage. Think of them as the air traffic controllers of the renewable energy grid.
Ensuring everything runs smoothly, even with intermittent sources like solar and wind. That's no easy feat.
Right, but it's essential as we transition to a cleaner energy future. And with the backing of Kimmeridge and Lacuna Sustainable Investments, SYSO is well positioned to lead the charge.
Now, from managing the flow of renewable energy, let's dive into the complex world of data security in the cloud.
A company called Anjuna just raised $25 million in Series B2 funding for something called confidential computing.
Okay, that one definitely caught my attention. Confidential computing sounds intense. What's it all about?
Imagine a world where your data stays completely protected, even while it's being processed in the cloud. That's the power of Anjuna's Seaglass platform.
So even the cloud provider can't access the data. That's next-level security.
Exactly. It's a game changer in today's data-driven world. And with backing from M Ventures and Sinewave Ventures, Anjuna is leading the way in cloud security.
Impressive. Now, from safeguarding our data to boosting our productivity, tell me about this AI agent platform we have next.
Right. Bardeen just raised $3 million in seed funding to help us all work smarter, not harder.
We can all use a little help with that. How does it work?
Think of it as a super efficient digital assistant that can handle all those tedious tasks that eat up our time.
You're talking about data entry, scheduling, even writing emails.
Precisely. It uses natural language processing to understand what you need and automates those tasks seamlessly.
And with backing from Dropbox Ventures and HubSpot Ventures, Bardeen has some serious firepower behind them.
It's amazing to see how AI is not only changing how we work, but also where we work, which brings us to our next company, pushing the boundaries of edge computing.
Edge computing, that's a hot topic these days. Who are we talking about?
375 II, and they just secured $5 million in seed funding to expand their decentralized edge data intelligence network.
Okay, that sounds pretty complex. What's the basic idea behind it?
It's about bringing processing power closer to where the data is being generated.
So instead of sending all that data to a central location like a giant data center, it's processed right there on the edge, closer to the source.
You got it. And that means faster processing times, more efficient use of resources, and a more resilient network.
I can see why that would be especially important for applications that rely on real-time data.
Right, things like environmental monitoring or traffic management.
Makes sense. So what makes 375i stand out in this space?
Their decentralized approach, it's like having a network of mini data centers spread out across a city, all working together.
Now that's interesting. And I see they have backing from Sixth Man Ventures and Factor.
From the digital world to the built environment, our next company is Invent Wood. They just secured $8 million to scale up their revolutionary building material.
A revolutionary building material. Now you've got my attention. What is it?
Superwood.
Superwood. That sounds impressive. What is it exactly?
It's stronger and lighter than steel, but get this, it's made from wood.
Really? That's incredible. How do they do that?
They've developed a way to enhance the properties of wood using cutting-edge technology. The result is a building material that is not only incredibly strong and durable, but also sustainable and beautiful.
Wow. It's like taking a traditional material and giving it a super high-tech upgrade. I can see why this has generated so much interest.
And with backing from the Grantham Foundation, Builder's Vision, and renowned architect John Rockwell, it seems InventWood is on track to transform the world of architecture and construction.
And speaking of transforming industries, our final deep dive this week takes us into the world of carbon capture.
It's a big one, and one company leading the charge is Carbon Quest. They just secured Series A funding to scale up their innovative carbon capture technology.
Carbon capture is such a critical area. What makes Carbon Quest different?
They're focused on a distributed approach. Instead of building massive, centralized carbon capture plants, they're bringing the technology right to the source of the emissions.
So they're capturing CO2 from buildings and power plants before it's even released into the atmosphere. That's a game changer. What do they do with the captured CO2?
They can repurpose it for use in various industrial processes, like making concrete or even creating synthetic fuels.
Talk about turning a challenge into an opportunity. That's incredible.
And with backing from Riverbend Energy Group, Carbon Quest is in a strong position to make a real impact on decarbonizing our world.
It's amazing to see how innovation and investment are coming together to create a more sustainable future. From AI that personalizes itself to our needs, to building materials that redefine what's possible, to revolutionizing how we heat our homes, to capturing carbon right at the source, this deep dive has been a whirlwind of inspiration.
I completely agree. It's a great reminder that the future is being built right now, one innovative idea at a time. So to all our deep divers out there, keep exploring, stay curious, and until next time, thanks for joining us.